Citizens in the world's deadliest country are abandoning gun control. Where do you think that is? I'm going to tell you. Citizens in Brazil are abandoning gun control. Brazil is the most deadly nation in terms of murders in the developed world. Brazil is the most deadly nation, it appears, in the world. Despite having a population only two-thirds that of the U.S., Brazil's population currently is estimated to be around 207 million, whereas the U.S. around 330 million. So their population is more than a third less than ours. Brazil sees somewhere in the neighborhood of 60,000 murders yearly. 60,000 murders yearly, as opposed to the United States seeing about 15,000 homicides yearly, actually a little less over the last couple of years. 4 times the amount of murders as the United States. Liberals will never tell you that story. They'll tell you places like Brazil are these safe utopias. 4 times the amount of murders as the United States, despite having more than 1/3 less population. Does that make sense? Despite having less than 2/3 of our population. It's probably a better way to phrase that. And citizens there are abandoning gun control. Here from Bloomberg Politics. In the world's most murderous country, gun control is starting to lose its appeal. Polls show support for gun ownership gaining ground. Well, of course they do. The most basic core human instinct is survival. The most basic core human instinct. Nothing else even comes close. We look for shelter, we look for food, we look for water, we look for fire. We protect ourselves. We engage in self-defense for one purpose, survival. When you go to the supermarket in your Mercedes, and the woman in front of you come out of her BMW and out of her Louis Vuitton handbag, she takes her very expensive wallet and her American Express Black Card and pays for groceries. Despite all the wealth, the core reason that woman is doing that is survival. You have to eat to live. The most basic human instinct is survival. Brazil is proof positive. People there no longer want to be disarmed. The article goes on to say one of the candidates leading the field for October's 2018 presidential election, hardline conservative Jair Bolsonaro, got that right, has promised to allow law-abiding citizens to arm themselves, a popular pledge in a nation with by far the most homicides, we guessed it, of the entire world, most homicides in the world. 60,000 murders yearly. That's more than Mexico. I think Mexico has around 40 some odd thousand. This is mind-blowing. It goes on to say, even before then, their Congress was about to debate legislation to overturn the Disarmament statute, a law that effectively bans civilian gun ownership. Now, there was a quote from a guy named Rogério, I hope I get his name right, Rogério Peninha Mendoca. This is the legislator, the Brazilian legislator behind this proposal. And he said, quote, every day, everywhere you look, the criminal is armed with a high-powered weapon as the citizen tries to hide. Why does it take a Brazilian politician to have far more common sense than American liberals? Why does it take a Brazilian politician to have far more common sense? Liberals here are still harping on gun control. Yet yesterday, I came across a story that the United States Navy is sending corpsmen, is sending medics. You know where they're sending medics to train? Emergency rooms in Chicago, because it simulates a battlefield experience like no other training they've gone through. Think about that. Think about that. Illinois, up until very recently, had draconian gun control, and it's still very difficult to go through the process in the state of Illinois. Chicago had some of the most draconian gun control in the world, not just the United States, in the world. Their murder rates were off the charts. You know why? Illegal guns used primarily and predominantly by black gangs. Black on black murder done with illegal guns. 90-some-odd% of the murders, black on black. Last stat I saw from Chicago PD was 99.999-some-odd% of the guns used were illegal. Same back when I worked at NYPD. It's a minuscule fraction of 1% that legal guns are used in crimes. Now, that's a stat that the left doesn't give you. The left will say, well, legal guns were used in this many shootings. What they don't tell you about the stats they're giving you is that they're factoring in justified self-defense and justified police shootings. Yeah, they're lying to you about that. They're lying to you about that. So in 100 a subset of 100 justifiable uses of firearms or murders or shootings with legal guns, I should say, 99 plus are typically justified. That's how the stats have broken down since I've been looking at these numbers over the last 20 plus years. Now, support in Brazil is growing. I've got the numbers in front of me, and I'm going to give you all of those numbers on my longer show, Off the Cuff Declassified, today, right here on The Rebel. This is really important content, and I'm going to bring it to you every day, so help me keep doing that by subscribing to our premium service at www.TheRebel.media/shows.